Hi, welcome to our video. My name is Gabriela Mazariego.
And my name is Kevin Arevalo, and we are going to be talking today about the book Sense and Sensibility by Jane Austen.
We hope you enjoy it.
Well, as we already told you, we are going to be talking about Sense and Sensibility, which was written by Jane Austen. And as you know, any piece of art in the world takes time. That's why Jane Austen wrote a first version of this book in the year 1795. It was an epistolary novel. That means that it was written by using letters. After that, Jane Austen decided to rewrite her story in a different way. She started writing it as a narration. It was between the years 1797 and 1798. But this book was published until the year 1811 because the book required to be checked by many people who knew about writing styles and so on.
Talking about why she started writing this book or what she wanted to convey with this book, we have to analyze the social context in which she was living. Without any doubt, many aspects influenced Jane Austen when writing her books.
There was a big change in society because of the Industrial Revolution. People who were accustomed to earn money from the product of earth now have to get involved into a new era of industrialization and a new era of capitalism and even later on to socialism. But what was the result of the Industrial Revolution in this book?
As you know, during that period of time, social classes were well defined and people had to respect social classes.
In this book, we can realize that social class was important for even getting married and for creating a family.
On the other hand, this period of time was not just characterized by the Industrial Revolution,
but also by a stronger role of women in society. And we can observe that in other book that is from this period of time, and it is Test of the Tubervilles by Thomas Hardy. There we can analyze that women want to be dependent, want to have a voice to speak in front of people and not to be hidden behind their husbands. So I think that women are trying to take another place in society.
in the case of Sense and Sensibility, Eleanor wanted to be free, to express her own ideals,
to avoid letting others to make her behave in a particular way because she was she felt secure with herself and she felt that she needed to be someone important.
Okay, my friends, let's summarize what Kevin just already said. First of all, we have the Industrial Revolution, which caused a lot of changes in social classes. And you know, at that time, social classes were really important. Also, we have the women's desire of having a role in society. They were struggling against chauvinism. Only in the 19th century have scholars and critics come to address Sense and Sensibility, great passion, its ethics and its social vision.
In recent years, the book has been adapted into feature films.
Let's check it out.
This year, only one motion picture will bring you all the surprises that life and love can offer.
The air is full of spices.
Marianne and Eleanor, as different as two sisters can be.
Do you love him?
I
do not attempt to deny that I think very highly of him, that I greatly esteem him.
Esteem him? Like him?
Eleanor's not like you or me, dear. She does not like to be swayed by her emotions.
Columbia Pictures invites you
The more I know of the world, the more I am convinced that I shall never see a man whom I can truly love.
to find romance,
Marianne, you must change. You will catch a cold.
What care I for colds when there is such a man?
You will care very much when your nose swells up.
You are right. Help me, Eleanor.
to feel passionately,
Why did you not urge him to stay?
He must have had his reasons for going.
I know the cruelty of dividing two young people long attached to one another.
Eleanor, where is your heart?
to laugh unexpectedly,
Oh, if only this rain would stop.
Only you would stop.
and to risk everything for someone you love.
Your sister seems very happy.
We know so little of him.
Willoughby!
From Jane Austen's timeless classic, get ready to lose your heart and come to your senses. Academy Award winner Emma Thompson, Alan Rickman, Kate Winslet,
Now we're going to define these aspects of the book. First of all, settings. In settings, we have the places where the book took place, and they are places from England. And also there we have a little bit of the social context.
Then we have symbolism. The author Jane Austen didn't focus on objects but on feelings and emotions, because at that time what people felt was really important in society, and for her too.
We have omniscient narrator. That is the person who describes the story, and that description takes us to the mind of the characters of the story. But most of the time, it takes us to the mind of girls and not to men. There, we can make a critique because it's like a feminism concept that takes place in the book.
Then we have genre. In here we can describe two aspects: satire and romance. Satire, why? Because it jokes about society. And then romance. Even though we have many situations in which we can experience the love that characters in the book felt, it's like illogical to be part of that situations at that time.
Now we have writing style, and there we may see that Jane Austen is really precise with the things she wants to convey on her books.
Now, let's go through the analysis of this book. Most stories start with a fundamental list of ingredients. These ones are the initial situation, the conflict, the climax, suspense, and the outcome. So, let's see each of them in specific detail. Firstly, let's describe what the initial situation is. As any other book, Sense and Sensibility begins the story by introducing the principal characters. In this case, they are family, the Dashwood family. Well, the story begins with the death of Mr. Dashwood, who leaves his family in completely troubles. Then we have Mrs. Dashwood and their three daughters, Eleanor, Marianne, and Margaret. Also, it describes a son of Mr. Dashwood. His name is John, and he belongs to the first marriage of Mr. Dashwood. But what really matters here is the typical character types. We can notice a protective father, who is Henry Dashwood. Then interested and disinterested people, Henry and his son. And after that, concerned people, who is Mr. Dashwood worrying about the situation and the future of his family. Besides, we can describe the main characters of this book. They are Elinor and Marianne Dashwood. Elinor is perceived as the sense of the story. On the other hand, Marianne is perceived as the sensibility. This dichotomy between sense and sensibility is going to lead us to the main conflict.
Conflict. This story contains many problems. Most of them are related with love, but some of them are not. For example, the blindness that they had. They were focusing on aspects of life that were not so important, while many other situations were occurring around them. And we can notice that because of all the parties that they did and all the events that they created and so on. Now, in the other side about love, we have situations of love with Eleanor, with Marianne. Eleanor had problems with love, and she was the one with sense. But even though she had sense, she had some problems as well. But the main conflict of this story is the love between Willoughby and Marianne. In chapter 9, this love starts, and it has many consequences later on. Those consequences affect not only Marianne's behavior but also Eleanor's behavior and the behavior of all the characters of the story. In here, we may see how Eleanor was worried about the future of her sister because her sister was so passionate.
Besides, we can describe the climax of this book as the most difficult situation, and we have decided to name it The Truth Hurts. In the climax of this book, the author Jane Austen wanted to express the hurting feelings that a person can experience when knowing specific things. In this case, the truth hurted Marianne when she knew that Willoughby was with another woman. On the other hand, we can mention the sadness that Elinor felt when she knew about Edward and Lucy's romance. Those situations were the most impacting ones because they could make the reader get surprised and astonished. Indeed, the climax is what makes us be aware of what is going to happen later.
This story, as any other story that has been created, contains suspense. And it is important because it makes the reader desire to continue reading the book. Throughout this story, we may find different sections with suspense. For example, in chapter 16, when Marianne is really worried about Willoughby's destiny. In chapter 16, we may identify different themes that are related with the suspense of that part of the story. For example, desperation, hope at the same time, because there is like a light inside Marianne that tells her that everything is going to be fine. And as you know, suspense is related with desperation because everyone thinks that there is not a solution for the problems that they are facing. And it is not just at that part, but also in other sections of the story that suspense takes place. For example, when Marianne gets sick, and also when Edward was going to marry Lucy, and it was a fact or almost a fact that he was going to marry her. In those sections of the book, it seemed like if everything was lost and that there was not a solution for the conflict of the story.
At the end, it is obviously the outcome of the story. Well, if you have the opportunity to read this interesting book, you can realize that all around the story, characters were struggling against their own destiny. They were supposed to have a bad ending because of all the situations they experienced. But fortunately, as it happens in any book, everything falls into place. Even though there were many difficult events, every single person got a happy life. Marianne married Brandon, Eleanor married Edward, and even Lucy got married with Edward's brother. However, some of them didn't deserve it. In contrast to this, it could be interesting to create a different ending, in which the reader may notice that not all the time we can escape from karma or what we truly deserve.
So, that was all about the analysis of the book.
Yeah, but what happened with the ending?
What do you mean?
Well, I don't know, and people don't know what happened at the end of the book.
Well, all the characters got married. For example, Eleanor, she got married with Edward Ferrars, Marianne got married with Colonel Brandon, and Lucy got married with Edward's brother.
Really? But what happened there?
Well, I think that it is a happy ending. Don't you think so?
Well, I don't know if it is a happy ending because Marianne, well, I don't know if Marianne was really in love with Colonel Brandon.
Yeah, I think that the author didn't describe if she got in love with him because she is giving a possibility for you to understand the book in different ways. And you have the option to think that maybe she got in a real love with him, or in the other side, she got wise and she decided that it was the right option for her life.
So it depends on the readers to create our own conclusion of the book.
Yeah, for sure. It's up to you.
Oh. Okay, guys, we have been analyzing all the aspects of this interesting book, but now we have gotten to the part in which we are going to conclude with this. So let's listen to my classmate Kevin.
Yeah, as you know, this book is really amazing. We have the opportunity to get into a section of the past because we can analyze how society functioned at that moment in time, and we can also compare society with the society that we have now with the society that we had in the past. We know that in society there have always existed many problems, and we have them in the present days. For example, love, it's a topic that it's part of our lives, and also social classes, economic situations, and the reactions of people. Those reactions haven't changed in human beings, and we have two concepts in this book, and this is a very important part because we have sense and sensibility. They are a dichotomy because those terms are like opposed between each other. Sense, it's when you think about the things that you're going to do, when you start analyzing every single step that you're going to take in your life. And on the other hand, we have sensibility. That means that you appreciate life and that you enjoy your feelings and emotions and you live this life with all the power of your heart. And in the book, we have Eleanor and Marian. Eleanor was the one who behaved with sense, and Marian had sensibility. And in life, we do not have like a division of those two concepts, but in the book we have the opportunity to see the division of the concepts and to see how each of those concepts react or behave in life.
Yeah, well, it is an interesting and really important conclusion. So that is the ending of our video, and we hope you have enjoyed it.
Thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoy it.
Bye. Hi, welcome to our video. My name. Hi.
She wrote it again.
We are going to conclude with this analysis. Guys, as you know, we have been analyzing the different aspects of this book, but now we have